Today we're going to talk about why Bitcoin is so boring the last few days. We're going to talk about the Bitcoin spot ETF deadlines and decisions. We're going to talk about why this bear market is taking so long. And we're going to talk about the FOMC and CPI data. So in today's update video we have a lot to discuss, so let's just jump straight into it. First of all, we can clearly see that we have not been doing anything for Bitcoin, and why is this? Well, these are a really few good reasons on why this is currently happening. But first, let me quickly show you guys what is currently happening. We can see that we are still, right now, after this massive drop to the downside, we are trading in the same 2% range for the last 12 days. This is absolutely insane. This is a 2% range. And if you think, well, maybe a 2% range for 12 days, that's not so long. Well, after this massive dump to the downside, we already had 22 days of trading in a 4% range. And after that, we had 35 days of trading in just a 5% range. And this just shows how boring Bitcoin was the last few days. So let's just jump immediately in why this is currently happening. Alright, so one of the reasons this is currently happening is because Bitcoin's trading volume is at its lowest in more than 4 years. And this is really significant. We can clearly see right here trading volumes decrease in bear markets as retail investors leave. And we are currently at the end of the bear market. However, because this bear market was so long, and I'm going to show you guys why this bear market was so long in just a few minutes. But this bear market was really long, and retail investors are just leaving. They want something else to do with their money, and they don't want to sit on their Bitcoin with it not moving at all. We can see the US regulatory crackdown on crypto combined with the end of the banking crisis in May, which accounted for much of its year-to-date gains, drove market makers and traders away. And they still don't have a reason to return. They probably will only return once Bitcoin reaches all-time high and everyone is going crazy again. That's how retail investors work. So if you're now watching this video, then you know that you're not a retail investor, or you at least have some knowledge and you're investing in a bear market, which is really smart. We also have this, an analysis of crypto quant data from both spot and derivatives exchanges shows the total volume of Bitcoin held on all exchanges is at a 2019 low. If we then quickly look at the 2019 chart here on the 1 week chart, we can see that this was exactly when this massive parabolic run-up happened, and we started trading in the end of 2019, or at least at the beginning stages of the end of 2019. And currently the exact same thing is happening. We saw here in 2019 a massive move up, together with what we saw here in 2022, 2023, a massive run up. And now we are seeing lowest volume ever since 2019, which is also happening right here. Then we also saw this massive downwards move, which we have right here with straight up not much happening for Bitcoin. So this just shows that Bitcoin is just straight up just doing the exact same thing, and it's repeating its history again. All you need to do is right now is wait for Bitcoin to finally start this massive move to the upside again. And yes, this could take a few months, potentially all the way till April when we have the halving. So yeah, just sit tight, accumulate more Bitcoin, and eventually we will probably do something like this and then send this to an all-time high, just like what happened in 2019. The similarities are absolutely insane. Then, to follow up a little bit about my statement of the longest bear market in history, we can see that this article came out explaining everything. The Bitcoin price prediction as BTC enters its longest bear market in history. This is absolutely insane, and they can clearly see why this is happening. According to Pope, an analyst, the current bearish pace can be compared to one witnessed in 2015, categorized by a period of sideways action where the faith in crypto is slowly getting lost, despite the fact of solid fundamental growth. And what they mean by this is that Bitcoin was just not doing anything in 2015, like you can see here on this picture. However, there was some good growth, and a lot of big institutions finally started getting into 2015. And now we are seeing the exact same thing happening again. The similarities are just, like I showed you guys already, exactly the same. We can see a massive bear market without anything happening, and a lot of fundamental growth currently happening with a lot of spot ETFs finally starting to get accepted, or at least getting appealed, which is really bullish, which you call fundamental growth. A lot of institutions are currently starting to invest in Bitcoin. However, retail investors are not here at all. They're just not ready to invest yet. They think it's too boring yet. Then, talking about Bitcoin spot ETFs, the first deadline is almost here for the BlackRock Bitcoin spot ETF and a lot more other smaller Bitcoin spot ETFs. So we can already see here some data. However, this is when they first appealed, which we can see BlackRock right here, 7/19/2023, which already happened. And their final date to be approved or denied, of course, is all the way in March of 2024, which is a long way from here. However, they also have deadlines that they need to follow in order to extend the approval or denial. Look at this picture, we can see that the first deadline is starting to come in real close. We can already see that the 21 shares in ARK, of course, already got denied. However, we got a lot more spot ETFs that want to be approved or denied, and this is the first deadline. And of course, the ARK one didn't got denied, it just got extended to the second deadline, which we can see right here. Now, what we have to look at is the first deadline. We can see that BlackRock's first deadline is the 2nd of September, which is only about 5 days from here, which means that it's getting really close. And this could potentially send Bitcoin even lower, because if we get either a denial or we get an extension of the deadline, that means that Bitcoin will be even more boring and potentially fall even lower. And the same will happen basically with any other ETF. However, BlackRock, of course, is the biggest one. Then, to follow up with some more details about why Bitcoin is going so low, is we can clearly see that Bitcoin is simply following the exact same pattern it has been creating all the way since the beginning of 2023. We can see we saw a massive move to the upside, followed with a lot of boring price action to the downside. And then you will see this massive move in volume again, sending us higher, followed by a lot of declining volume before sending us higher again. And then a lot more boring price action with volume going to the downside, followed by a massive spike in volume, and then followed by a lot of consolidation again, followed by a lot of boring volume, and then one massive spike to the upside or downside, of course, in volume. And then we will see a lot more consolidation again. This happened now for the 5th time already, and it seems like it's going to happen again. And if it follows follows somewhere around the same thing that happened the last 4 times, it could stay really boring for Bitcoin potentially all the way till the middle or ending of September 2023, which is going to take a long time. That's more than a month away, almost a month away. So there is a chance that we're going to see a month of boring price action. Still, Bitcoin finally gets another big move like this, or this, of course. Now, everyone is probably wondering, which way are we actually going to move? Well, we have some factors in order to decide that. The first one is Bitcoin could be worth less than 20k in 2023, meaning that Bitcoin will drop a lot more from where it's trading at today, at of course $26,000. Now, if we scroll down a bit, we can see an economic chart showed the BTC USD order book on Binance is still lacking significant liquidity above 25k, increasing the chances of rapid moves to potentially the downside. Which is of course not good. We don't want moves to the downside. In order to make us all excited, we need a move to the upside, of course. So yeah, there is a really big chance that because of this, we are going to move further to the downside. Then we have some more things that could potentially help us out with deciding where Bitcoin is moving next. For example, the CPI data is coming out in about 2 weeks from now, which is of course a long time, hence we can't find a forecast right now. However, we all know that last time our CPI inflation actually went up a little bit, which is not good at all. And if it continues to go up again, then the Fed is forced to go for even more rate hikes, which of course could plummet Bitcoin even more. So yeah, we don't want to see another spike in the CPI because this could potentially trigger also a lot more dumps to the downside. So September 13 is definitely going to be a really important date for Bitcoin. Then following up with the CPI, we of course got the FOMC rate hike moves. We can see that about 22 days away from here, which is of course a long time. But we are currently predicting an 80% chance of another 25 basis points rate hike and about 20% chance of actually a 50 basis points rate hike, which is of course going to be really significant. If we get a 25 basis point rate hike, that is going to be already really bad. However, if we get a 50 basis point rate hike, then that will send Bitcoin in complete chaos, potentially sending us straight down to 20k. Of course, we still have to wait out till the CPI data comes out, and if it's really bad, the CPI, and if it actually went up even more, the CPI, then there's a really big chance that we are going to see a 50 basis point rate hike. However, if the CPI just stayed the same or even went a little bit lower again, then there's a really big chance that we're going to get a casual 25 basis point rate hike, and maybe even a potential of a rate hike pause again. So yeah, that is for now everything I have for you guys about this next couple of days, basically for Bitcoin, potentially even weeks or months. I've discussed everything for now and there's not much more I can discuss. I hope I gave you guys all the information you need in order to stay up to date with Bitcoin and maybe motivate you to buy even more Bitcoin. If you want to buy Bitcoin, if you want to trade Bitcoin, then you could potentially go to the first link in the description and signing up for a Bybit account using my link. That being said, I hope I will see you guys in my next Bitcoin or crypto video.